and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red. Marcus Brito, though, coming out like an absolute rocket there on the front in the yellow cap, really winding it up. He's known for a quick start. He's going for it at the moment. Kistaki as well as Svort are chasing, but these are your leaders. Rimborg goes over the top here of Allport onto the climb, and these two riders, they mean business today.
Look at that!
We are into the Ghent City Sprint. It is sprint number 1. No surprises that SS has gone for this. Mr. X100 is going with him here. And now we see 2 riders from the UAE clan team who always have a plan on the move. We're still seeing that Category 3 move through. The blue has filtered its way through the red. The red riders, the Category 4, are going to try and hang on. But because they've been caught on a climb, that is much, much harder.
It's a fabulous place to attack, I tell you. Got his timing to perfection, I think.
He's continuing to accelerate. It's 14 seconds now, and it's growing.
Do not let him go. Do not let him go. They are absolutely going to be marking Kaminsky like nothing.
Columbari and Quadrelli out at the front. They're on the right-hand side of your screen. The chasers are on the left-hand side of your screen. They have got Nick Squilari, the leader in Category 3, with them as well. How many times can they kick? Who's going to put in the final move? Columbari has kicked again, and he's going to take this surely now. Fluvio Columbari wins qualified number 3 on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. Boy, I enjoyed that race finish. Welcome to Sunday Race Club with the UCI Z Sports partner for 2024, 25, 26. It is MyWhoosh. My name's Matt Payne. I'm going to be bringing you all of today's race action in our men's finals. I'm here in the studio with the one and only Professor Emma Martin.
Hello.
Oh, that was a very posh hello.
And welcome to... No, we're not at University Challenge. We are on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
Indeed, we are. We've had some great racing, but it all comes down to the last race of the month. It's our monthly finals. This is when it really counts. Emma, take us through the course because we're going to Colombia.
We are indeed going to Colombia for the men's race. On to the Paso Alto. 45 kilometres of racing, 914 meters of climbing. Last time we were here was qualifier 1 in January this year. Along the way, 5 sprints on the flat section, which takes us to just shy of 22 kilometers onto this course. Then the Medellin climb, 5.5 kilometers, 6.1% average grade. It's a Category 2 climb. Then we transition to the Bogota climb, again another Category 2 climb, because it is 13.5 kilometers long, 3.6% average gradient. It does kick at 7.7 at one point, but, well, 19 kilometers of climbing facing our men, and then that checkered flag. It is often a sprint finish on this course. I cannot wait because it's a final today, and our team competition is in the mix as well.
So our 4 categories all ready to go. Categories 1 and 2 in one world. They can draft and overtake each other. Categories 3 and 4 in an exactly identical world, but they again can overtake and can draft each other. 5 minutes between each categories 3 and 4 and 2 and 1. It's our Category 4 riders that will go first. Right, you ready for this? Level racing. Navarro, Lodano, Kaluma, Marin, Cadabona. We've got the Medellin team. We've got Cavajal. We've got Arrego. We've got Milano, Pino, and Zimael. We've got the Mighty Ducks. We've got Dazan, Casagrande, Kutab, Cridland, and Newman. And we have Paisas, Peloton, Ochoa, Marin Gonzalez, Vergara, and Valencia. The ranking winners, we've got Medeiros in there for them. We've got the Spinergy team, which is Fiedler, Finati, Brito, Giacobonis, as well as Cronje. We have also got the Anzacs, which is Toretto. That's a Noack, Montoya, Francis in there as well. The Power with Dromard, Rumi, Arrego, Calang, and Holtz. And we have Quadrelli, Kalman, Schoberg, Mayard, and Alejandro Meyer for the upcycle team who are hitting the road. It's time to go in Category 4.
Well, 42 riders on the start sheets, 9 teams in total, and this team competition is going to be really good today for my money. There are 4 teams out of those 9 in the mix for the win, and that's because they contain riders who have finished in the top 5 already in the qualifiers this month. Now, those teams, Matt, the Power, Upcycles, the Anzacs, and of course, Mighty Ducks.
I know, what a great name. What a great team name. Now, I've run through the team names. Who has performed in the last month?
Well, riders performing strongly in the last month. Jonathan Cridland's had a 1st and a 5th this month for the Mighty Ducks. Newman on that squad has also had a 3rd. Matteo Pino from the Medellin team has had a 4th. Dadson's had a 2nd and a 4th for the Anzac, so that looks strong. Orego's had a 3rd place. Interestingly, the only rider from the Power team to have a top 5. Quadrelli and Kalman for Upcycles, and it is Cronje who has gone out of the pen fast today. Category 4 love a fast start. They love to get their legs rolling, and Cronje has indeed done that. Orego, Dadson, Montoya covering the move from the front of the pack behind, and the pack moving fast.
And Orego was the first to chase after Cronje there, and that's often a sign that the team are really up for it. And you said he'd been moving well this month.
Yep.
He's on form. Does that mean he's now wanting to make the most of this and close that gap down?
That Power squad, they took the win last month in the final with riders in 3rd, 6th and 8th by 1 minute 33 seconds. So, they will want to hold on to that title. But the competition is their big star, because we've had a lot of riders progress to Category 3 this month. And there he is on the screen, his avatar and in person.
Well, let's take a look at him moving his way up on here, because he's really working hard. He's got the bike hung up beside him, but look at him move now. He's got the tower down there to stop the bike getting damaged by the sweat. A really nice setup and moving very strongly off from a race start here. It is Robert Cronje who is leading this group out at the So the riders here in Category 4 on the away on the straight, chasing Robert Cronje. Stephen Newman leading this chase behind. This is going to be very, very interesting indeed if this is a portent of what is to come, because they are working hard from the gun. And this means there's going to be some tired legs before we even get to that climb, Emma. I mean, a lot of the riders, I'm going to let you repeat what you said in the women's show about the rider that you spoke to when you were out on the ride. What did they say about this course?
Well, whilst Mark Dudson there is on his phone, maybe messaging some teammates, I did indeed ride with a group of well, actually, it was a women's group ride. Wasn't actually a women's group ride, but it was organised by one of the women's teams, and some of the men were on there as well from the Sunday Race Club, which was fantastic to see. And in the chat, I was asking what some of the riders what their favourite course was for the Sunday Race Club. And well, it was indeed Ian Lloyd from the Category 4 men's squad who said to me, and he'll be ashamed to miss this today, because he told me the first 20 kilometres of Colombia were indeed his favourite Sunday Race Club course. I wonder why, Matt? Because it's flat and there are a few bridges? Well, it's Category 3 who are down in the start pen. They are ready to go. Take us through the teams. Right.
Here you go. Few less riders here. Let's see how we go. It is going to be the Colombian Andean team. Orego, Aran and Esteban Pagarin in there. The draft squad with Cadiz, Cansara, Kirchner and Oviedo. Very strong squad. Gold grabbers in here. Diduch, Hoyos, Kochkov and Giuliano. We've got the GUW team with Winfield, Scretti, Moreno and Gates in the squad. The Italian Espresso squad, very, very strong. That's Barraquilla, Monella, as well as Cusimano and Roncalli. The Last Breath team, that is Cirillo, Elos, Abello, O'Mallus and Daniel. We've got the squad from Level Racing, Neville Ross, Kirk, Bradley in for an injured Roy. We've got Allport and Mesa in there. The Misfits, we've got Zadaska, Tiger, Demmanuel Warren and McMurty. The Silver Snatchers is Mountier, Bogren, Squilari, Connell and Gonsolin. Pro Sanchez, Andres, Lago and Rodriguez.
Well, that's it. They are away. Category 2, the blue jersey wearers are up and out of the start pen and on to the Paso Alto course here in Colombia. It's a huge group of riders qualifying for this Category 3 final. 52 riders on the start sheets today. Matt's run through the teams, but there are a number of individual riders here as well. They will be part and parcel of the mix as we're in with Luke Allport. Allport pushing on at the front, ensuring a good, strong start. Ridborg is the rider with him, and now we saw that strong start from him last week, but there you go. Luke Allport up and out of the saddle, pushing on at the front of the pack. He's in the mix for this final. Is he going to be in the mix at the end?
That is a very different thing on this course. Good to see Luke down there. Luke clearly watching. Always great to see him. I did it again. I waved at Luke when he waved. I always do.
You've got to stop waving at the riders when they come up on screen.
No,
they cannot see
polite.
you.
Oh, but it's just polite to do so. I really, really love it. And Luke Allport is a real character. He always goes from the gun. He's in here part of the level racing team, and he's animating the racing as we see him do time and time again. You've got the man with my favourite name, Eric Rindborg, in there. He's making his way up the straight. Great name. We have so many in here, but Emma, I ran through a lot there very quickly, covering all of the riders that are in teams. And as you said, there are other riders in there. Pull from this huge race field. I know it's an almost impossible task. Pull out the people that really have shown that they are on it this month, and they could be the people to watch.
Well, really interesting, actually, Matt, this month in Category 3 in the men's race, because Nick Squillari from the Silver Snatchers is the only man to win his race category twice this month. Every other race category in the men's race has had a different winner of each of the qualifiers. Nick Squillari, however, has taken 2 top spots, so really strong racing and seriously on form. Squillari for the Silver Snatchers. The Italian Espresso squad, Caligula's had a 4th, Monella's had a win. Hoyas from the Gold Grabbers has had a 3rd. His teammate Kochkov has had a 4th and a 2nd. The draft squad, every single one of those riders has had a top 5 this month. They have got to be, for me, the team to beat. They are the reigning team champions from January as well. Can they make it 2 wins in 2 months in 2024?
Well, that would be very impressive indeed if they can. Almost as impressive as Luke Allport's bid for early TV glory every time he goes out and away.
Well, let me tell you, last month, Matt, the draft squad did take the win, but by only 2.8 seconds from the Gold Grabbers and 3.07 seconds from Italian Espresso.
And is it similar in Category 4?
Category 4, it was the Power Squad from the Spartans with a 1 minute 33 gap.
So a 1 minute 33 gap, a slightly bigger gap. But that is last month. This is February. This is the Paso Alto. It is a very interesting race route, and we're seeing a split in the groups between the leading group and the riders behind. Now, if you are new to the show, if you're new to MyWhoosh, a quick run through for you. Right-hand side of the screen is the racing stats around the rider that is featured in blue. So that tells you the time gaps. It tells you whether the riders are in Category 3 or in Category 4 or 2 or 1. So it gives you those indications down there. You will see that the very top of that screen has the course profile. We're about to hit the bridge. You'll see the gradient will increase. That's the number in the grey box at the side. That is the percentage gradient going up as we go up, and it will be in minus numbers as we descend off the far side, and this group split potentially even further. When you see those red and yellow chevrons, that means that the riders are digging in deep. We move across to Category 3. You can see we've got our lone leader out here. So Kirsnowski on the front here. He's got a time gap of 2 seconds, as you can see, to Ben Kirk and Rindborg. And this very interesting, opening up the gap. The main pack sitting at 6 seconds down on the Category 3 leader at the moment. So Kirsnowski really working hard. If he could break clear with Kirk and Rindborg, that would be a really nice group. 3 riders working in formation. If the rest of the group sit up, it's going to give them a gap. If not, they're going to stretch this race out.
Well, they are looking to stretch this race out. And for me, this is about riders going off the back of the group, not riders going off the front of the group. But this is really, really early in this race. And I don't think that chase group are even going to be worried about this, because they have got 21.9 kilometres of pretty flat terrain in front of them. They are going to bring in any lone rider potentially out front.
So the riders are on the way out the front. At what point, Emma, how long do you think you would dare give 3 riders? I know it varies depending on which 3 riders it is, but what would be, when would you start going, right, we've got to close this down now? What kind of time gap would you let them have?
I think on this course, with a big pack like that, I'd be thinking I'd quite happily leave them out 8, 9, 10, 11 seconds. Once it got to about 15 maybe or more, I might put my foot down a little bit, but I wouldn't be on front of that pack at all.
No, I was thinking, you were in seconds. I was thinking like a minute.
No.
Yeah. Because, and let me tell you the reason why. Because there's such an advantage sitting in the pack. You see Ben Kirk in here. He's been reabsorbed back into the group. He's working hard on the front, making them work hard. But the ends you put in here, you need it to pay off. You need it to be for a reason, even if that's just so that you are up to a pace you're comfortable with when you hit the bridge.
Well, and also I think with the team competition, because this is the monthly final, we see very different tactics at play. We see teams firing riders down the road, the group bringing them in, and then the team will fire another rider down the road, a different rider, to try and take the sting out of riders' legs. This is a really interesting race course for the final for me, because we've got, as I mentioned, 21.9 kilometres of fairly flat, where we will see riders come off the back of the group, but we're highly unlikely to see any riders go off the front. We've then got the steepest climb of the day coming first, which has got an average gradient of 6.1%. You have got to be in the leading group at the top of that climb, or for me, no more than 5 or 6 seconds off the back of it, because otherwise you are not going to be in it at the finish. The second climb is the longest. It is 13 kilometres in length, but the average gradient being just over 3%, with the volume of riders and the matching of strength and characteristics of the riders by the 4 different categories on the Sunday Race Club, means for me we're highly likely to see the riders who go in with a group at the beginning of that climb still be there at the end.
Well, you can see at the moment one man who knows how to race. He's got a mass of experience. Adriano Zanaska, rider who was absolutely excelling in the MyWhoosh Championship. He's on the bike here. And Adriano Zanaska from Italy, riding at the moment very, very strongly indeed.
I'm liking the greenery in his cycling room. Fresh air, cleansing the air, purifying the air for the rider.
Yeah, I'm not adverse to a bit of greenery in a turbo room. I'm not sure you want to be in a jungle where it's all hot and sweaty, but I think selective greenery is going to. And Adrian knows Zanaska. He's not our youngest rider in the race. Let's just put it that way. That means he knows everything. You know, he's been around the sport for a long, long time, as Adriano, and it's great to see. And it shows that whatever age you are, it doesn't matter. You can get out and race and enjoy it.
Oh, it doesn't matter at all. And we know we have young riders in the mix. You know, we regularly talk about Cam Winfield, who we'll see coming up in the Category 2 race, one of our younger under 23 riders from Australia. You know, Zanaska, one of our veteran riders. I am quite happy to claim being a veteran rider as well. But, you know, we don't stop when we get over 50, you know.
We don't indeed. That is for sure. Now, categories 4 and 3 are away in their world. We are now going to set off the first of the riders in the category 2 and 1 world. It's category 2. Now, the 3J team have Sabalas. They've got Velas, Quintero. We've got the Cafe de Colombia with Ospina. We've got Angarito, Munoz, Jurado, and Guarin. Hexagon have got Kayan and Kayan, Gallo, Naito, and Trojanowski. We've got the Hubbard squad with Bjorhead, Von Haren, Clays, Oya, and Milostic. We've got the Hitmen, Cam Winfield, of Graves, Spratt, Simonson, East. The UAE Falcons have Zayed Hamdan in the squad. We've got the Wattage Warlocks, which is Betty Van Heet, Alami, Koisten, and Medakowitz. The Wattage Wizards with Mayor, Bengtson, Ritter, Dont, and Krasnich. And the Wattage Race, Hernandez, Juki, Obico and Carradine, a packed field full of riders. We'll have a look in more detail soon. It's time to get Category 2 underway, out on the road. It's time to start their final here on the Sunday Race Club, and it's away from the start they go. This is critical moments. Do not get distanced out from the start. You are not going to catch a group of this size. You've got to get this right. Get it wrong now, you might as well go take an early shower.
Well, 41 riders up and out of the start pen. The Wattage Wizards took the win in January on the Yebble Yace. The Hitmen in 49 seconds back in that team competition. Is it going to be as close today? Well, Phil Graves from the Hitmen, he is hitting it hard out of the start pen. So Graves picking up the mantle, pushing on out of the start pen, ensuring a good, strong pace. Castamere really having to respond on the front of the pack. Oh, how far would you let Phil Graves go before you brought him back in, Matt?
Now, do you know, I've raced against Phil Graves once upon a time, a long, long time ago. So I do have some insider information. My view, how far would I let Phil Graves go? Absolutely nowhere. This man is absolutely on fire. We know when he goes hard. This course, he goes like absolutely fury at the start here because he knows that he's got the strength later on as well. He's got the endurance, and that is really, really key. You can see him out of the saddle here, kicking on down. This is the attack, and this is the move by Graves. He's still looking calm and focused here, which is really, really interesting to see. I have to say, I've got bike envy of Phil Graves. That was a very nice bike.
Well, there you go. Whilst Mark...
I've changed name.
I know. What's Mark? It's because Castamere's come up, and I'm half saying Mayor. I'm looking at Mayor's name and thinking Matt, and the two have just merged together. So whilst Matt has bike envy on the other side of the studio, we are in with Castamere. He's at the front of the group here. He can see Phil Graves out and about off the front of the pack, but they are not responding in a big way, and they know they have strength and depth in numbers. And however much Graves wants to be off the front, he will eventually be wheeled back in.
Well, who's going to be the man who's going to grab hold and bring him back? Mary's pushing here. My soul buddy out on the course, pushing on hard at the front. Maybe his middle name's Mike. You never know. Heading on down the course. Now we're in with Alami at the moment. Another of our riders who is super, super strong. And a rider who could well be in here. Emma, the riders in here, I mean, it's a who's who. Who would be your pick? If I said to you, name me 5 riders, which 5 riders would you go for?
Well, Ritter is on flying form this month from the Wattage Wizards. He's had a first and a second. Phil Graves has had a first and a fourth. Who else have we got in here? Nicholas Spratt from the Hitman as well has had a second and he's going really well. And of course, Krasnich has had a first as well. So 3 different riders taking top spot in each of the 3 qualifiers in Category 2. So nobody doubling up in Cat 2.
Okay, so you've named 4. I need another one. I asked for 5. I'm not going to let you up with this. You called me the wrong name. That's it. Come on, who's your 5th person on here?
I think Nico from the Hexagon squad.
I was going to go for Trojanowski.
Were you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
We will see. We'll see. Now, good to see Henry East in here. Henry is from South Africa. It's currently in South Africa. The temperature, 18 degrees. Hi, Henry.
And it's dark outside.
It may well be. I'm not quite sure whether Henry's from South Africa or is in South Africa. We will see. Because if it's dark outside, that's quite impressive. 18 degrees, 16.1.
Shaking his head.
I think that means that he's from rather than in. But there we go.
No,
we will
who knows?
Go the other way around.
He'll send us a message.
Henry, send us a message on the
after
Instagram,
the race,
post-race. If you do it now, that means you're not focused enough on the racing. It is at Biking Emma to get in touch with Emma. It's at Matt Fixer Paint to get in touch with me. Please do get in touch. We cover a lot of cycle sport. We absolutely love seeing our riders in action. And we're now going to see our Category 1 riders take to the race start. Now, this is a select race field. The Belgian Waffle Squad have Van den Eekhout. They've got Panitza. They've got Van Elst in here. The Coalition Alpha Jaw Squad, Vujasin, Kaminsky, Jones, Turek, and Talbot. The Paint-Hosted Squad have got Bjorkland, Jochems, Plantero, and Jacobs. We have the Sweet Potatoes with Noren, Van Diemen, Safasedi, Mer, and Nair. And the UAE Clan team, Popovich, SS, Mr. X100, and Michael Knudsen. This is going to be a cracker.
It is indeed going to be a cracker, and it is all going to come down to team tactics for that team competition. Well, Panizza is in the mix in this start pen, and away they go. Category 1 are up. They are out of the start pen. They are onto the course here on the Paso Alto in Colombia. It's a group of 28 riders on the start sheets. This is our smallest race field, but do not let size bother you because the class is here in the mix today.
They don't make diamonds the size of bricks. Well, if they do, I haven't seen any.
Whilst Matt is wondering where you see large diamonds, here on the start sheet today, there are a number of sparklers. So Vujasin has had 2 top 5s this month. So has teammate Kaminsky. So has teammate Jones. They have got to be right up there for the Coalition Alpha Jaw squad. Sweet potatoes. Van Diemen's had a 5th. Safrazad, 3 third places this month in the 3 qualifiers. Can he make first or second today, or will it be a 4th third place for him? Zach Nair has had a 5th. Pablo Popovich has had a 1st and a 2nd. So for me, this is Coalition Alpha Jaw, Sweet Potatoes, and the UAE clan team head to head. It's all about team tactics, and you can guarantee they have had a pre-race meeting.
I would like to think every team has talked to their teammates about what they're going to do. I'm sure Michael Kaminsky has with his teammates. He's regularly is racing with Justin and Michael, one of the riders that we saw down at the MyWhoosh HQ. He's got the jersey on. The Polish MyWhoosh contingent is growing all the time, and they're blessed with sunshine and 7 degrees, so warmer than
always
here.
Sunny indoors when you're on MyWhoosh.
It is. Have you noticed that? It always makes you feel
it
better.
Never rains.
It doesn't. Now, Mikhail Kaminsky, one of our riders who really did show the envelope is being lifted in esports. So we are pushing up the bar of the performances that are physically possible and accepted within the sport. If you're a new viewer, apologies for the next few minutes.
Oh, that makes me think, what are you going to say?
We are going to talk a little bit about verification. Now, verification is something that is utterly critical to esports because it means that we are checking the performances of the riders. This is the process with which we keep hold of the riders' data. We look at it and then we assess it. Now, this has been done by AI. It's done by a variety of ways. It's human checked. There are parameters in place. And one of those parameters is the level of performance that you would see from a World Tour Pro team rider. The UAE team, of course, the Emirates team in the men's race in terms of setting that bar. We are seeing performances come out in esports that are absolutely top draw.
Yeah, and we should, because this is all about the professionalization of esports and esports becoming its own cycling discipline, which it is. There are world championships now in esports on esports platforms, the next 3 being on MyWhoosh. Now, why would we expect logically someone who specializes and is professional esports rider having the same numbers as someone who rides on the pro teams? Because those pro team riders are out day after day on grand tours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 4 hours, day after day after day.
7, 8 hours.
E-cycling professionals are racing and training for a 1 hour race.
Yep, at this level, these riders are generally racing for around that hour marker. You've got a lot of power. You're going to be able to go harder. You're going to put different, and the recovery, because you are in a controlled environment as well, you're not dealing with outside factors. You're not having to watch out for steers. You're not going to have to watch out for potholes. You're not going to have to worry about running into the guy in front of you or behind you. You're not going to have to worry about that. All these things, you can concentrate on your tactics and your performance, and you're going to see a better performance. It's great to see.
And one of the things I think is really interesting, lots of people talk about FTP and 20-minute power effort. For me, I was going to say it's immaterial. It's not immaterial, but your 30 seconds, your 1 minute, and your 2 minute are more important, and your recovery is crucial, and how many times you can repeat those efforts.
And you can see that SS here, 20 seconds, sits right in that super short power band there. Big power going down, 8.8 watts per kilo, 595 watts coming out. kicking down on there, and we know he can kick and recover. The UAE clan team rider kicks and recovers. That's what makes him so good on the platform. It makes him so good at kicking down there. Ruben Dunn, interestingly, is another rider who does that same thing. A rider who we have seen from the very first time he came onto the Sunday Race Club, putting down that kick, putting back that recovery. You can see that the Category 1 riders are moving fast, but Don right up there as well. So that snapshot on the racing gives us a good illustration of the speed and the power. The Category 1 race is very quick today.
Wow, it's gone quick off the mark, isn't it?
It has. And it's about having that power and that recovery. And to be able to do that in that controlled environment, we are seeing better performances. There we go. That is your verification few minutes done. So if you went out for a cup of coffee, make a cup of tea, whatever it is that you've been doing, even getting an ice cream if it's warm and sunny where you are, you can come back in now. And I promise we won't talk about verification and FTP numbers again.
Well,
maybe.
I'll tell you something. SS, Montoya and Van Diemen. Well, Van Diemen's leading the charge, but it's Mayer, SS and Montoya, the three riders out front here. They've got 9 seconds now on the chasing group, but I'm not sure that chasing group are going to be too bothered at the moment. Now, last time we were on this course, Matt, now that we've just jumped in with Cat 2, was Qualifier 1 in January. It was the first course of the year. Now, in the Category 2 race, and we're here with the leading group in the Category 2 race, it was Kranich who took the win from Graves, from Dont, from Ritter, from Bengston. But it was 30 seconds that separated the top 4 riders in that race field. In Category 1, it was 30 seconds from first to second, but second to eighth were within 2 seconds of each other.
And of those riders you mentioned, Ritter, Banks and Don are on here for the Wattage Wizards.
Wow.
Surely that's got to put them right up there in terms of being the favourites on this course.
Well, they did indeed win on the Yebel Yace as well, so they have got to be the favourites. Overall, I think in the team competition, it's down to them to put the performances in to match that expectation. Can they do it? Only time will tell.
Only time will indeed tell. And the clock ticking on our riders in Category 2, having a race for 12 minutes of racing, covering 8.4 of the 45 kilometres that they have to travel. So Category 1 at 5 kilometres travelled, Category 2 at 8.5, Category 3 at 15.4, and Category 4 already having gone over a third of the race distance. They're now at 17.4 kilometres.
And the common denominator? They are all big packs.
I thought they were all nice and colourful, riding an amazing world on esports. But there you go. It is indeed a commonality between them all. Common between them all is the amount of riders that we pay out the prize money to.
The denomination.
And let's think about the denomination maybe later. We'll get Emma teed up for the Emma's Exchange. Right. Let's talk about prize money. Team classification today, because it is the monthly final, the individual classification in play as well. The qualifiers were great looking after our individual riders, but this is a final. It builds up to the teams, and our teams are looking to take away top spot. Top spot in Category 4, 2,160 AED in the individual classification. Top spot in the team classification, first place, 10,800 AED. Our base level pays out big prizes. We move up to Category 3. As you can see, the prize money goes up. We're up to 3,600 AED for first in the individual classification. And that team competition, 18,000 AED for first place. If you split that between the 3 counting members, that is going to be 6,000 AED each. But remember, there may be 5 riders in there, and that is where things are going to get interesting. I'll let them do the maths on that one. Now, between Category 4 to 3, it went up between 3 and 2. Yes, it goes up again. Bit easier to do the maths in the team competition and the individual classification here, because if you are the solo rider taking away top spot, you're going to get 6,000 AED, and you're going to get a share of 30,000 AED for first place in the team competition. Big prizes in Category 2 as well. In Category 2, it's big. In Category 1, it's absolutely ginormous. 5th place, 2,000 AED. 4th place, 4,000 AED. 3rd place, 6,000 AED. 2nd place, 8,000 AED. 1st place, 10,000 AED. That's for the individuals. For the teams, in 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd, and 1st, it's 5,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, and a massive 50,000 AED for the win in the team competition in first place. Take that win. That's a big old prize. Even if you divide it between each of the 5 teammates, that would be 10,000 each. And if you've done it with 3, you've got an even bigger share. Now, we have riders from around the world competing and fighting it out for those prizes. We try and give you an illustration of what those AED would be if you were somewhere else and you weren't going to spend them by coming out and going to go ride one of the routes in the UAE itself, in the United Arab Emirates, where the UAE tour has been and is at the moment. If you're not going to go out and go to Wolfie's bike shop and buy some nice bling bike, I'm just dreaming. Emma, where in the world are we going to go to give an illustration of a currency somewhere else?
Well, we are in honour of Nick Scolari, the only rider in the men's field to take 2 top spots this month.
Excellent.
In category, well, across any of the categories, but he is indeed in category 3. We're going to Australia for the Australian dollar.
I've just been there this morning.
Well, okay, maybe you have been in Brisbane this morning. But 10,000 AED, 4,153 Australian dollars at the moment. 50,000 AED, 20,767 Australian dollars as of Emma's exchange.
It's at moments like this when I think I wish I had my notes from the BMX, which I was doing earlier on today, about how much you win in a UCI BMX World Cup versus esports on the Sunday Race Club. And I'll tell you something, I don't think there's much different. If anything, I think you win more on the Sunday Race Club. That shows you just how professional esports is and what our riders are racing for. Now, we have Ricardo Panizza, we've got Olivier Simmons, we've got Ben Cook and Scott Francis, not just on your screen as avatars, but the people riding those bikes, powering those avatars and providing the watts that gives us that performance. How are they going to get on? They are at various stages across the course. The furthest down the road at the moment is our category 4. A quick reminder that the climb starts at 21.9k, so time running out for these riders on the flat. They'll soon be pointing skywards in Category 4. Category 1, well, they've got the furthest to go. They're currently making the way in through. They are at 8.7k. They've got a long way to go before they even get to the climb.
Well, they do indeed, but give us a bit of opportunity to talk about the men's field, Matt. Now, in February, I've mentioned Nick Scolari, the only rider to take 2 wins and replicate. That means all 3 of the other categories, Category 1, Category 2 and Category 4, had 3 different winners in the 3 qualifying rounds in February. We're watching 3 riders at the moment as well, because Brito, Orego and Newman are clear by 15 seconds in this Category 4 race. They are the leaders on the road at the moment. The chase group is behind. But Matt,
sorry, can I just say, we were talking earlier on, and I said, how far would you let 3 riders go?
I said about 15 seconds.
Yeah, I've got to hold my hand up and go, well, that's about where it is at the moment, and we are about to come on to the climb. They're not that far away, and they're making the way down. It's not going to be long before we see them hit that. I am very, very impressed. That is a long way down the road for them to go. Behind them, the Category 3 leaders at the moment. Well, it looks like it's going to be Kostowski, it's going to be Warren and Rimbaud just getting distanced a little bit here as they come down. They are not actually all that far behind at 19.6k. They are chasing in. So we're seeing the groups break up now. Category 4 are about to hit the climb. As they do so, Emma, sorry, go back to that point about the field in general.
Well, yeah, the field in general. So we did mention 11 different riders taking wins across the 4 categories in February. Was quite similar in January as well, Matt. We had 4 races in January, 15 different winners out of a potential 16.
So each time that we're seeing the racing, we're seeing the prizes going out to lots of different riders.
Yeah, we are indeed. And we have done some, well, should I say we? It's a royal we, because actually it means me. I've done some stats between November and January as well across a 3-month period. Now, in the men's race, over that 3-month period, 38 different riders took first spot across the 4 categories. 85 different riders took top 5 positions and prize money. in the individual competition. So that does not include the team competition and riders earning or winning prize money in that, but 85 different riders taking prize money away from November through to January. And for me, it is just getting more and more competitive each month.
It is indeed. And I think it also, because there's so many different riders of different types out there, it makes it more competitive. It's great to see SS. He's really going for these sprints here, as is Ruben Dont, you notice, again up in the mix. And Dont is on the attack as well. When it comes to this riding through here, SS we've seen, I mean, look at that power, 635, 9.3 watts per kilo. The heart rate's gone up about 10 beats since he did the very first one we saw. Absolutely flying. Physiologically, putting your coach head on here rather than your stats mathematician head on, is there a physical reason to do that to get you warmed up, or is he just burning his energy?
Oh, I think it's tactics. I think it's tactics completely.
Is there no physiological rather than psychological reason?
I think this is about a number of things. I think this is about the UAE clan team trying to break the legs of the other riders, though I don't think they're going to be able to do that. So for me, this is psychological, about having somebody down the road and able to utilize those sprints as part and parcel of an attack point. And that's strategic, where you attack on the course and how you can go away from a group of riders who are expecting attacks without, I want to say being seen, but of course you're going to be seen. You know, an element of surprise. There you go.
An element of surprise. And I'm a great believer in racing that there are things like sections out on the course that are trigger points. So you might say that the bridges on the flat sections are trigger point. The start of the climb, where our category 4 on are going to be, it's going to be a trigger point. It's where you're going to see the riders go off the front. It could be where you see a triggering of the bunch animating themselves and bringing the gap down. You can see it's where our riders are on category 4. They're onto that climb. We're starting to see that effect of it compressing down. The distance comes down because of the simple physics. You're traveling slower. The time gap may be the same, but the distance will come down. That means you're more likely to catch some draft. You can see in category 3, Kirsnowski with Warren are the riders who are clear. Rimborg about to be caught and absorbed into the main bunch here.
I tell you something, this category 3 pack are motoring, Matt.
They are going, aren't they?
The category 4 leaders are not that far up the climb.
And this point where we're coming in, a trigger point for action.
Yeah.
In this case, it's not generally a trigger point for action off the front. It's a trigger point for the bunch to wake up and move, because we're hitting the base of the climb. We've seen that transition from the flat onto the climb.
Yeah.
This is steeper, it's shorter, and it's more decisive. It's better for a climber.
Yes, it is definitely better for a climber, this first climb, the Medellin climb, much more than the Bogota climb, which is a lot longer but a lot less steep. Now, James Kranich is the rider pushing on in the category 2 race. Take a look at that. We're going through a sprint section, and it is indeed a push on the front here. Now, is he using that same tactic that we've seen from SS? Go through the sprint, come underneath the end of the sprint banner, and just keep motoring. That is what the rider is doing at the moment, and he's 4 seconds clear of the group. He's trying to make them chase. He's trying to make them utilize some effort. But interesting, Matt, none of the riders out the back of that group yet.
No, we are still seeing the groups holding together at the back. We are seeing attacks off the front. We're now seeing Vedel Mer gone down the road. Pablo Popovic for the UAE clan team is the man who is chasing here. So Pablo Popovic putting in an effort early. He is the rider who's been top 5 already this month.
Yep.
He's on the move. Now, quite often you will see people signal their intent without meaning to, because they chase. They cannot resist chasing people down. They are eager to bring the gap back. The UAE clan team are usually more considered than that. And Pablo Popovic going after this could be a signal that they have got Michael Knudsen ready and waiting, and he's on the wheels here. Are we going to see a real move coming out now?
Well, we were speaking about Knudsen last week, weren't we? And he'd put in a phenomenal effort on the Saturday. And that didn't correlate to a strong ride on the Sunday.
Well, it correlated to an absolutely
but I tell you something,
ride on Sunday.
It may well correlate to a really good form today.
Yeah.
As long as he is well and truly rested, and Michael Knudsen in and about the mix. Now, interestingly, the Coalition Alpha have also sent David Talbot down the road to chase, because Talbot won part and parcel of that squad, and we've seen fantastic performances from Vujasin, Kaminsky and Jones all part of that coalition Alpha Joe squad. Now, is Talbot doing the work for them like SS has been doing the work for the UAE clan team?
Ooh, that is a very good question. One man who doesn't look to be working that hard, Ani Jacobs at the moment. I mean, when we've seen him in action when he's absolutely flat out, he's still pretty smooth on that bike. A nice solid torso that's not rocking about, not moving. A great platform to generate
the
power. Eyes focused on the screen. Whether he's on the limit or he's just riding in the pack, he always looks very similar.
Yeah, it does indeed. His heart rate 160 at the moment would say to me that it is a comfortable pace. Well, comfortable. It's an effort, but it is a comfortable pace.
It's not on the limit.
He's not on the limit. Now, other riders, let's just mention to our viewers that heart rates are very, very individual and personal. We are not expecting all of our riders to be able to hit a heart rate of 200 or 201, though some of them we have seen hit that as they go over the line racing. SS is one of the riders who, well, for me, 152 is a strong push at the moment in terms of his heart rate. He gets to 160-ish and he's about to go pop.
Okay, interesting. Whereas Pablo Popovic, we know, can yo-yo, and it is something that changes with age a little bit. But some riders just work harder, and some riders work at lower intensity. And how long you can sustain that effort as well, really, really critical. So the UAE clan team are having the numbers in this leading group here. They've got Mr. X100 in here. You've got SS, you've got Pablo Popovic, and you've got Michael Knudsen. 4 riders represented in the team, and in that group, they have been historically one of the strongest squads, if not the strongest squad historically. However, the challenges that are coming at them thick and fast because the level of racing has gone up and there are more people at that level, including the UAE clan team. It means that it is not, it is exponentially harder to take a win now than it was maybe even 2 years ago or 3 years ago.
It's not physically possible to win 52 weeks of the year.
Not if there's a good quality of competition. And we know the quality of competition and racing is big, it's high, it's world class. And whatever category, whatever level you're at, you can jump on board. Emma's just giggling because SS has just gone for another sprint. I'd say he's absolutely nailing these sprints time and time again.
Yep.
Somebody get SS a green skin suit out there so he can ride it on his bike wherever you're riding at the moment, sir. I hope you're in a green skin suit because you deserve to wear one all the time at the moment, putting in those things. It breaks the race because they know they can't also let him go. And what I really love, it's we saw this in Omloop yesterday on the road in the first of the classics. We saw teams in action fighting it out against each other, and the tactics that were being played out really, really key. SS down the road there, look at that, 10.1 watts per kilo, 690 watts. Stefan Van Elst at 8.1.
Leading the charge.
He's leading the charge, and he's leading the charge on the chase, not leading the charge because he wants to put a sprint in, and SS is making them work where maybe they would have just cruised around and saved their engine.
I agree, because they don't know whether he's going to continue, whether he's just going for the sprint or whether he's going to keep going because he has been known to utilise those sprints as attacks. So SS leading the charge there and Van Elst leading the follow.
So category 1. Well, on the way down. So going on from Matt there at the moment. So, it's continuing on within this group, but Emma, if you can get yourself together on the other side. It's the riders on the way down this straight. I'm looking at this group and I'm thinking, we've seen attacks, we've seen them come back together. Saeed Safrazedi in here, one of the most accomplished riders in the pack here in lots of ways. I mean, a rider, his trophy cabinet speaks for itself.
It does.
A rider who I'm desperately love to bump into somewhere at a race somewhere in one of the many disciplines that he rides and I talk about. It's great to see him in action, and he always looks pretty smooth here. So the Iranian rider currently in Iran. Do you know what? I was not expecting that. That shows you my ignorance. I'm going to hold on to that because it's 0 degrees at the moment.
Yeah.
It's also.
Do you know what I also think would be really good is
if we had
the time of day.
Now you're asking. That's going to challenge. They're going, look, you've just got the blooming weather. We've put you the screens on the riders. What more do you want? And Emma's now saying, can we have the time of day as well? Where
I like to challenge our production crew. They are phenomenal.
Yeah, they are, but they also know that all you want is lots and lots of stats.
I love it. Anyway,
you love stats.
Well,
that's what it is.
Yeah, I do indeed. And I also like the fact that the Category 1 riders are indeed pushing on here. And in the mix is where they are. Turek is here. Jones, Jacobs, Bjorklund, all in there. Category 2 are further down the road at 20.8 kilometres into this race. Let me give you a reminder, viewers, that climb comes at 21.9. They are now 1,000 metres away from the bottom of the Medlin climb. The first climb today categorized as a Category 2 climb. And whilst James Krasnich and Millerstick and Ian McCarroll are at the front of this pack, there's a bit of a stretch, but it's still one group.
Can I just say, James Krasnich has got one of the coolest avatars going. That's one cool dude.
Is it?
Yeah, he's got a little ponytail going on, white hair, little grey goatee and super shades on. He's really personalised that avatar. I love it. I can't imagine he actually looks like that in real life, but you never, ever know. It's what we love about our riders. Now, we are motoring on. We are in another
Who's on
sprint.
the front?
No prizes. There are absolutely no prizes.
SS.
Zero.
No, well, actually, it's not because
here.
SS is actually chasing down Vidal Mayer, who is still off the front of this group. He's 4 seconds clear. SS doing the chasing as Mayer goes around the corner. Now, one of the reasons you don't pick up Mayer on that screen is because he's wearing the green skin suit, giving him a little bit of hidden. He's like camouflaged in the shade on the road.
And he picked that up when he went through the sprint first. He hasn't held it, though, because he held it until SS went through, chasing, putting in the fastest time, 20.954. Now, this is where SS's sprints have another effect on the race. And you can see him going through at 20.954 at the top of your screen, putting in a sprint. But the effect of that will be that he has brought the group back towards our lone leader, who was working hard there. Vidal Mayer, you can see 5.4 watts per kilo, 168 beats per minute, 383 watts as he went through. He's gone through in 4th place. But the move by SS has brought him to within 2 seconds of Mayer. And this will be the frustrating thing if you're on the front. You go in, you put an attack, you go for ages. SS puts a sprint in and he brings the gap down to you in a matter of seconds.
Well, I'll tell you something. It looks like these two riders are going to come together. So Vidal Mayer and SS looking like it's going to be a 2-up team time trial for 2 riders on 2 different squads, because they are going to be 8 seconds clear of Montoya and 15 seconds clear of Jacobs and Bjorklund, who are leading the chase behind. So this has been a really clear move. They're coming up for the run into the bottom of the Medlin climb. They're still about 2 kilometres out. It's an early attack, but how much can they get in terms of gap before they hit the climb, and how much time will that give them?
And how much effort will it cost them to do so? They've got to run on at pace, because you can see every time we hit this, we are seeing people go. Olivier Simmons here is kicking off the front here. He's got Trajanski with him. He's got McCarroll chasing. Looks like Phil Graves has decided that early attack was all he was going to do till he hit the climb. You've got Spratt in here. Mayer are speeding it all around the front. This is where the riders can't hide for much longer. They know that when you hit the steep slopes that you have to be in position. If you are caught out the wrong side of a gap now, you are going to be in trouble. Nobody wants to be taken out of the race, out of contention, because they were sitting behind the wrong wheel on the race. You need to push, and you need to push now. And it is looking pretty desperate behind Ricardo Betti, who is setting the pace up on the front. He's the man who is winding this up. He's got Graves on his wheel, a speeder in third. You've got Winfield up there as well. I'll tell you something, he's one rider you wouldn't want to take to a sprint finish, Cam Winfield.
No, he isn't, but Ricardo Betti, one of the Wattage Warlock squad, and that team have had great rides this month. Van Hees finished 5th, El Halami's had a 5th, Coincidence had a 4th, and Mendakowicz has had a 3rd. So a strong squad, and you really do not want to ignore the tactics coming out from the Warlocks. Well, the Wizards are in there as well. They were the Wattage Wizards who took the win last month. Part and parcel of that Wattage package, there's the Warlocks, the Wizards, and the Wraiths in this Category 2 race today. So Betty now joined by Graves as the push continues up this climb. It's just shy of 6% at the moment. They're 23.2 kilometres into this 45-kilometre race. There's still around 4 kilometres of climbing to go on the Medlin climb. It's a total of 5.5 kilometres with an average gradient of 6.1%. At the moment, the charge is being led here by Winfield. Now is moving towards the front with Dont as they continue to push. How many gaps and breaks in this category 2 pack are we going to see by the top? Because if you take a look on the bottom left-hand side of your screen now, the graphic gives you a fantastic illustration of what is happening in this category 2 race. This is the leading group we are looking at on the charge up the climb, about to sweep round the right-hand bend. Behind, we have got multiple groups on the hill, all spat out the back from the leading group as the gradient went skywards.
Cracking races in racing in category 2, cracking racing in category 1, and that gap, because SS and Vidal Mayer have come together, there is opened. It's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In fact, I'm not going to keep on going because it's over 20 seconds back to Montoya, and it's nearly 40 seconds, if our clocks and speeds are believed, to the group behind. These two are going to get a run at this hill, and that means the groups behind are going to have to really work. And not doing the work on the front, you're probably going to see the team from the UAE Clan team holding around the front, but not working because they've got SS up the road. It's given them a little bit of a free pass here. Christian Montoya must have been wondering what's going on here because he's seen the gaps open around him. He's in no man's land between our leaders and our big chasing pack.
Well,
but he has run. He's got. If he's going to get caught, he's got sliding room. If he's going to attack, he's already got a bit of a bonus. So it's looking good.
Yeah, I know. But you know what I really like about Montoya? He is an individual in this race today. He's not part and parcel of a team. But you know what he's doing? He's saying it doesn't matter. You can put in a phenomenal performance. You do not have to be a member of a team in the final. You can kick it and show them what you're made of.
And people like Christoph Thiem, David Dunn, I mean, Rakan El-Thief, they are riders that we know can be right up there in the mix. They're in category 1. That's on the left-hand side of your screen. On the right-hand side of your screen, category 4, we have a solo leader. He is just clear. He is Matus Kalman, with Jonathan Cridlin, Stephen Newman, and Mark Dadson closing down on the wheels here. Cridlin goes over the top and pushes onwards. They've got a gap here. It's 5 seconds back to Drummond. It's 18 to Montoya, and it's over 20 seconds to Rego behind. So a gap starting to open, a small group up on the front. Now, in the women's race, we were talking about the climb here, and I said I wanted 3 to 8 riders going over the top of the climb as we came to the top of the Medlin climb. This course is different, though, because when we get to the end of the Medlin climb, we still have a lot further to go on this course in the men's race, and it's a gradual climb. Because of that reason, I'm going to change my numbers.
Are you?
Here. I am.
Okay.
I am.
Go on then, change your numbers.
I'm going to change my numbers. So instead of it being 3 to 5, I think you need between 5 and 10. Well, it's not much, but it is critical because you need to have enough riders to go through the flat rolling bumpy and to hit that climb because it's such a long way. If you're not in a big group hitting the final climb, I think you're going to be in trouble.
Well, I don't want to disagree with you, actually, Matt.
Oh, my goodness. Put the day in the diary.
Well, putting the day in the diary is Ruben Dont at the moment because him and Von Haren and Twinston and Winfield are all at the front of this race. This is a big category 2 pack, and as we said earlier, that bottom left-hand graphic really, now we're on the climb, giving all the information the viewer needs. But you can see the different climbing styles of our riders on the screens as we're in with Ricardo Betty, who we have indeed been talking about. Carvajal is there, so is Quintero, up and on that bike and out of those pedals. Phil Graves sat in the saddle still as a pitcher. He is concentrating hard on that screen, whereas Ruben Dont up and out of the saddle as well in terms of that climbing style. Now, this pack, Matt, in category 2, it's huge. They are so strong and well matched, this category 2 squad. Let me tell you, last time we were on this course, 30 seconds separated the top 4 riders.
That was a very contemplative from me.
It was, wasn't it?
It was. I'm looking at category 3 at the moment and category 2, and they're big groups. And I'm not sure that's a really good thing at all at this stage, because I know we've got a long way to go. And I said I want a big group, but I am kind of thinking, this too big. This bigger, this too big. Too many riders going onto this slope. You're going to get towed up, but you've got to watch so many people. And when you start to get the groups coming together, which is what we're seeing on the screen, between category 3 going through the category 4 riders, it causes confusion. You can get caught out.
But 52 men qualified and verified, got 2 verified rides in February for this category 3 final today, giving such strength and depth. 10 teams plus individual riders in this race. And I talked about tactics. Squad with Neville Ross, Kirk Allport and Martin Mensah, so it is absolutely crucial that these teams and these squads support each other, ride together and race together, because the strength and depth is phenomenal.
It is indeed, and great to see. Now we're just seeing Cy Bradley in there, who stepped in for Justin Roy, who's injured. Get well soon, Justin. We want to see you back on the Sunday Race Club. Looking good as they come up here now. This group, category 3 riders, they're catching another big group here of category 4. The category 4 riders can draft the riders in category 3, and some people don't like that. I personally think it's a great idea, because it forces our riders to think. No, because you've got to think about what happens when a group comes past.
Yeah, it's another part of the tactics of racing.
It's part of parcel of racing and tactics. If we wanted to just do a time trial, or we just wanted to just do an individual effort with no tactics in there, that's just called riding on your own. Wow. This is racing. Part of being able to draft.
On their own.
They're not. It's huge, and they've caught them at a point in which a lot of these category 4 riders are going to be able to kick and come with the group, stay in the draft. Not as long as they don't go on the front, they should have the capability of staying in, because this is category 3 and 4.
Well, they are indeed on that transition section between the 2 climbs. The Bogota climb starts at 31 kilometers. There's just 800 meters to go of the flat rolling bumpy section. Now, for our viewers who have not been with us some time, there's a reason we call it the flat rolling bumpy section, and that would be because Matt once asked me, is a transition section, what's it like? And I said, well, it's flat, it's rolling, and it's bumpy.
Hence its name, now set in stone in the world of MyWhoosh. Well, not yet, but it will be when we talk to the game designers. It's the FRB section.
Flat rolling bumpy.
It is indeed. And it does describe it very, very well. What's key about it, whilst we might joke about why we call it that, is that you've got to be able to change your cadence. You've got to be able to change gear quick. You've got to
utilize
have the
momentum.
Skills. You've got to use the momentum through there. It's a whole pantheon of skills that you need to make that work. It's really, really important that you get that absolutely dialed on this section. And that is before you take the left-hand turn, as our riders are doing now, and head on to the final climb of the day. You can see the polka dot banner in front. This signifies the start of the climb. A quick reminder that this climb is long. In fact, it's interminably long. It's 13.5 kilometers. The banner finishes 500 meters short of the end. I have had the pleasure of riding up this with riders before, and I have to say, having some company up here is a good thing, because it is really, 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 really long.
I think it's just the fact that you don't like riding long climbs, Matt.
Maybe.
Well, whilst Matt thinks the Bogota climb would be the worst climb in the world
No. That is the. Although it is a challenge that I am going to do at some point, the endurance climb on MyWhoosh. If you've not looked at it, go look at the course details on MyWhoosh of the endurance climb. And then maybe that should be your challenge this year. Not me, you, anybody but me, that you go out and go do that endurance climb. It is an absolute beast. Go have a look on there. You don't have to ride it. You can just look at the course and see how long it is, because it is quite incredible.
You need to be careful, or I might set a studio challenge.
You won't find I'm taking it up.
Well, whilst Matt debates whether he wants to engage in a studio challenge on MyWhoosh this year, it's Allport Neville Ross and Martin Mensah who are part and parcel of the screen at the moment. They are on the climb. They have 13.4 kilometres of this climb to go. And I say that because whilst the polka dot banner finishes 500 metres before the checkered flag, it still goes up afterwards.
It does, and it does level a little bit. The gradient does decrease. It will come down, I suspect, to who's got any kind of sprint left. It's not like you see at the end of the tour where you've got little lightweight climbers sprinting it out slowly. It is a big kick.
It is a big kick indeed, and those Category 4 and Category 3 riders sweeping up more of those Category 4 groups on the road, on the climb. This is the leading group in the Category 2 race. That is the polka dot banner signifying the end of the Medlin climb. It's looking like nearly 10 riders in this leading group as they continue to come back together again. And I think we're going to see them concertina back. And you can see on that bottom left-hand screen, we've got a big group and then a smaller group a little bit further back and then a third group distanced. Now, for me, there's a possibility, I think, of that second group getting back reattached. The third group may be less. This is all about now how they ride the momentum of this flat, rolling, bumpy section to see whether they can form a larger leading group going into the
So we're in with Anders Bengtsson at the moment, really pushing around this left-hand turn here. He's looking really strong. We saw him on our screens there. This leading group, Emma, they're
continuing to work, you know, Matt.
They are. They're not, I mean, it is a section where you have to work. You don't want, if you've worked on that climb, you don't want somebody coming back. I mean, that's the worst thing that could happen, is that you ease off too much and all of a sudden somebody comes back on and then they kick in going up the climb and they actually beat you on the climb and you only let them back on board because you eased off on the FRB.
Yeah, and completely. And there is that thing, isn't it? When you get to the top of the climb, do you go, take a deep breath and fill your lungs with air and bring your heart rate down? Or do you continue to push? And that is part and parcel of what is going on in this group at the moment, because what we're actually seeing is Group 3 on the road starting to come back to Group 2, not Group 2 closed down to Group 1. What we're also seeing is one rider just being distanced from that front leading group in this Category 2 race. They are in no man's land at the moment between those groups. I think Group 3 is going to sweep up onto the back of Group 2, forming a huge chase group. That one rider, it's interesting to see, in fact, it's Trojanowski, that one rider in the middle. Now, tactically, Matt, could he have dropped back to work to bring those groups up to this Category 1 group, or is that a tired Trojanowski?
Oh, that's so... He's ridden this so often. Not this particular part of the course necessarily, but he's ridden on the platform enough now to know what effort is required, to know what effort he's putting in. And yes, you can get caught out. You could have a bad night's sleep the night before. You could eat something that didn't quite agree with you. You maybe just picked up a little bit of a bug or something, but it then catches you out. And maybe that is it, but I'm not sure. I think he's going to be there.
No?
You weren't going to get a yes or a no because it's you never ever know. Now, Ollie Jones on the attack here, pushing on over the top here. Jones, a man that we know has got the power. This is a move being made here. He's on his way to the top of the climb. When he gets over the top of the climb, we'll be able to see what kind of gap he's putting in. Has he done any more damage on the top here? So he's making his way up. This is the chasing group who's coming up here. They're going to get over the top, and then we will see how they're going, how the pace is. It's Ollie Jones who goes through in the lead. He's going to have the fastest time on that segment, but the group behind are not far behind.
Well, Jones known for a breakaway before. He has done it from the front and he has pushed on and been able to go clear, going up the climb the fastest there, 12 minutes, 18 seconds, fastest climbing time for Jones. Jacobs, Knudsen, Van Diemen, Safrazadi, Panizza, Turek, Popovic and Noren all within 5 seconds of Jones's time, but it is indeed Jones setting that quickest time, 5 seconds faster than Jacobs.
So our riders making the way into the flat, rolly, bumpy section. We're going to watch them make the way in and through. Time for us to grab a very quick refreshment break here. We're going to get some fluids on board whilst they do so. I suggest you do the same. The final part of this climb is going to be an absolute So coffee on board for us. Well, coffee for me, tea for Emma. I hope you are fueled up and ready to go. We're on to the last part of our finals here. This is the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's our February finals. We have 4 categories on the road. The left-hand side of your screen is category 1. The right-hand side of your screen is category number 4. Category 4 furthest up the road. It's looking like the action's absolutely manic.
Well, it's all the fours. 4 riders clear in Cat 4 at the moment. They're the leaders on the road. Kalman, Cridland, Dadson and Newman. Now, that is not surprising, but they are clear, well clear of the chase group, but they need to be careful because that chase group, well, here they are. They are part and parcel mixed in with the leaders of the Category 3 race as well. And they are taking the draft and the tow from this group. Those 4 riders that are clear at the moment, they need to push on if they are going to stay clear of this catch group.
So the riders are on the climb here. Oviedo looking very, very good here. We can just see Squirrel in here, the man that Emma has tipped for the top. The rider who has taken 2 wins, wasn't it, Emma? The only rider to take 2 wins in this raft of races. He's trying to answer the attack from Nicol Cansara. And we've seen Cansara do this before, haven't we, Emma? He likes this climb.
He does indeed. And do you know what, Matt? This Category 3 race and the Category 4 race, they are still wide open, particularly in this team competition. I'm just taking a look at Cat 4. The Mighty Ducks, Cridland and Newman may be off the front with Dadson and Kalman, but they are part of Upcycled and the Anzacs. So this catch going to be crucial in both races. The Category 4 race, this is going to be part and parcel of what makes the action here, as we're seeing one of the riders in Category 3 push on hard on the front to go past those 4 leaders in the Category 4 race. It's Ryan Giuliano. We know he's good. He's done it before. Can he do it again? Giuliano pushing on here. Part and parcel of the squads on Category 3. He's a gold grabber.
He's going to be a gold grabber. Can he make it count? He's a long way. And I was just thinking, oh, he's not got too far to go. Then I looked at the screen and had a reminder that it is still over 9.5 kilometers to the finish here. That is a long way. But if you are confident that you can sit at a pace and you're better sitting at one pace that's your own rather than answering a varied pace that's being set by somebody else, then sitting there, getting a tempo and time trialing your way up here and opening the gap by those tactics may well be a better option. So category 1, 2, 3 and 4 all up the first climb of the day, the Medellin City climb. They've gone up into Medellin City to go through the FRB onto the Bogota climb and next, and that is one are heading. They're going to take this left-hand turn. They're going to be up on to the ascent. We're going to take a look at what's in front of them in a little bit more detail now, because as they make the way on to the climb, as soon as they get a little further down the road, we're going to be looking at the course profile, and that will give us a good indicator of what's in there. And Emma, when we get to see that, just tell us why it is so critical on there to be in a group?
Well, we are now coming up. In fact, the riders have just gone under the polka dot banner, signifying the start of the Bogota climb in Colombia. And this is the Paso Alto racecourse. Our riders have completed the flat section with the bridges. They've gone up the first category 2 climb, and they are now on that long Bogota climb. Also categorized as a second category climb. The checkered flag is at the top, 13.5 kilometers, 3.6% average gradient. And take a look at it. It is long. Now, a group going into the bottom, absolutely key because you can take a lot of draft up this climb because of the gradient, but also because the gradient is not particularly steep. The fact that our riders are of a similar ability will keep the competition hot.
It will keep it hot, won't it? I think that's that. The closeness, the small size of variation is very different.
When we see climbs, for example, the Wollongong climb in Australia, where the gradient tops 17%, that's a very different style of climbing than what we are going to see today.
So we'll see how our riders get on. So they make their way on to the climb. It looks like Arnie Jacobs is not going to wait for anybody. He's on the move here. He's attacking. He's trying to go clear at the front. We saw Arnie earlier on looking pretty good as he was sat on his bike in his pain cave. He's racing hard here, a little bit further down the slopes. I think Mr. X100 just on the right-hand side here. I think he's been distanced by the group on that run in towards the FRB, but this climb will suit him.
Yeah, it should suit him completely because we know he's a phenomenal time trialer. He considered around 5.5 watts per kilo. I almost want to say I nearly said forever then, but forever is not true. But he can indeed climb this climb at a really constant pace and ignore what everybody else around him is doing. He rides his own climb. So whilst the others are playing cat and mouse and looking at each other and pushing on and sitting up, he will continue to tap a strong pace out up this climb. And he has been known to catch riders on climbs like this and slowly work his way through the race field onto the podium.
Well, we'll see if he can do that. He's trying to close down the back of the group. Pim van Diemen, he's trying to close down on Annie Jacobs, who has gone clear at the front. So at the moment, it is Jacobs and Pim van Diemen, the riders who are making the way up their climb at the front.
So Turek in there as well. So is Knudsen and Kaminski, Panitza, Van Elst, Jones there. Riders pushing on. Johan Noren is still in the mix. He rode really strongly last time we were on this course as well. So expecting great things from him today. This is a Johan Noren type of course, actually. Not too steep, but still climbing. So Knudsen, Van Diemen, Turek, Kaminski, Jones, Van Elst, Nair, Panitza, Plantero in the mix as well as Safrazadi, all in this mix. It's still a big, big group. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. At least 10 riders in this group as we drop in to the camera with Daniel Turek. Turek right in this mix, right in this front group. Part and parcel of the action today.
So Daniel Turek working hard, trying to make sure that he can keep himself in that group and be in contention as they come in to the finish. This is going to be absolutely critical to stay with this group. You get distance here, it's going to cause you problems because of the speed, because of the pace. We are traveling at 30 kilometers an hour. So if you work in Imperial, that's around about the 18 to 20 mile per hour marker, the average speed that these riders are kicking up here as they make their way up, and they are still trying to pursue Arnie Jacobs, who's got 8 seconds on this group. It's not coming down that much. He's in sight, and it is a long way to go. But we have seen people time trial away and to be able to take solo wins before. Will they be able to do it this time around? Category 1 on the left of your screen. Category 2 on the right-hand side of your screen, and plenty of emotes being thrown down by the riders in Category 2 now, really starting to feel the pace. We're in with Nicholas Van Horen on the right-hand side of your screen. They are up and really firing at the moment. They're after Milostic, who's up the road ever so slightly, but it's hardly anything as they come through. The group has split, though, and it is not as big now, Emma, as it was before.
No, it's not at all. It really has split, and you can see that if you take a look at that left-hand screen. This group now really pushing on the climb. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 groups behind of Category 2 riders, and we say it's split and we say it's not as big, but there's still got to be over 15 riders in this leading group in this Category 2 race. They are tapping their way up the climb, and I'm doing a scroll down. 17 riders in the leading group in Category 2. Well, they've got 9.6 kilometres to go.
So they're inside 10 kilometres of the summit. Sad Carradine out of the saddle here, working hard, really trying to push himself up towards the front of this group as he makes his way up this climb. He really wants to be there. He doesn't want to let that gap go, and he's having to come across. He nearly got caught out there by being on the back of the group. He's working really hard, and great to see the effort being put in. Now back with Category 1, we've got Arnie Jacobs up the front. Jacobs has been joined by Kaminsky, by Jones.
And dangerous.
I think it's going to be potentially Popovic, but basically he's come back towards the group, and the group have extended towards him. It's strung out at the moment. Can the elastic be snapped here by the pace being put on by Mikhail Kaminsky? He would dearly love to take away the win here today. He is on the front. He's absolutely hammering, and look at him. He's got some left in him. That is not a man on his limit at the moment.
Well, let me tell you, there were 12 riders in the leading group in Category 1. Just a few minutes ago, riders from every single squad, all 5 teams represented in those 12 riders. It is now a big push on the front to see who can come to the fore in this race. But, and there is a big but, because the quality of this race field is exceptional as we see them continue to push their way up past the waterfalls on the right-hand side. Jones, Noren, Kaminsky, Knudsen, Safrazadi is in here, Popovic, Turek. Knudsen is on the back there as well. So is Plantero. So the riders all coming back together again. This is going to be a cracking last 10K.
It's been a cracking.
It's been a cracking first
35K. Do you know,
yeah.
You know my maths is bad at the best of times, but I tell you something, it's bad today. I had to think about that a number of times there to work out just how far it was. Now, here we go on the climb. We're in with Michael Kaminsky. Now, we did say that Mr. X100 would be able to time trial. Need to sit between 5.5 and 6 watts per kilo. He is doing that. He's currently at 47th place. He's sitting at 35K. He's about 500 meters down on this group.
Yeah, just
he
shy.
is not losing any kind of ground at the moment. He's not losing any kind of distance on the way up as he makes his way up this climb. And I'll tell you something, if he keeps on doing this, if that front group explodes because people go pop, I think he's going to start hoovering up places.
Oh, I love the idea of him hoovering up places. That sounds
like a big vacuum cleaner.
Big vacuum cleaner up the mountain. And well, I don't disagree with you actually, Matt.
I'm not sure my vacuum makes that sound, but
because we know that he is absolutely skilled in that type of effort. Now, this is a pack of Category 1 leaders picking up Category 2 riders now as they are going up this climb. Gallo. Winfield is not in the front of the Category 2 race, back on the bike, I think, at the moment, and really starting to find his legs again. But Winfield in here, Gallo in here, and Ritter. Now, that surprises me. Moritz Ritter from Category 2, who's had a first and a second place overall this month for the Wattage Wizards, now in this leading group of Category 1 riders, which means he's not in the leading group of Category 2 riders.
Deep in thought here. You caught me deep in thought.
Whilst you are deep in thought, you've also been caught out by Michael Knudsen, who's put an effort in on the front of this group, very, very quickly chased down.
He has, and I was watching the time gaps and just looking at the effort that's being put in here, and this group have kicked, they've broken, they've come together, they've kicked. You can only do that so many times, and the gamble is you don't want to chase every move up the road down. You do not want to do that because you're just going to burn all your energy up. But you've got to chase the right moves down, and what I wonder where we're going to see this. Pablo Popovic is now chasing this move down. Knudsen is not all that far behind as well. Are they thinking we are now getting into the point where it's going to break? It's in that point. You can feel it in a race.
Well,
you can feel it's going to go. It's going to go. It's going to go. And are they now at the point where they feel this is going to split, this is going to break, and if it goes now, this could be the race-winning move?
Well, it's getting skitty, but I don't think it's going to go. I think the race field now pretty much decided. Now, let's just remember, back in qualifier 1 in January, we were on the Paso Alto. Michael Vink took the win in category 1 in 1 hour 13 seconds. 1 hour 13 minutes. Let me put that the right way around. However, Vujasin Kaminski, Popovic Martins, Noren and Osborne, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th finished within 2 seconds of each other.
Okay.
So what does that tell you? That tells me that this group here are so well matched on this course, this could be a sprint finish.
It could well be a sprint finish. It could be. Will it be? I think it will. I have. You put the date in your diary. We both have agreed with each other at some point here today. I think that is going to be the case. I just don't think that there is. The terrain is not. There's no. There we go. No trigger point big enough that is going to be decisive. I think they're all small ones, which may see people lose touch at the back. That they're not. There's nothing there that, if we were to just throw the riders into a 17% now.
Please, sorry.
That's really going to kill them off.
Please tell me Ollie Jones has not got enough energy this point of the race to actually message someone on the phone. And is that Michael Kaminski picking up the message?
I think
have we just seen teams chatting to each other on Messenger whilst racing?
I think you might have done. That would mean that Michael Kaminski may well have the tunes in his ears, or maybe he's got the commentary in his ears. But look at this. The pressure's off. Daniel Turek there just giving himself a wide dab. Gate 2-1 wants to make sure he is going to be able to move now. Look at this, the pace picking back up. Kaminski was out of the saddle there. Is that an indicator that things are happening up at the front? It is. Look at this. You're just starting to see that push. You're just starting to see a kick on the front, and they're starting to wind again here. The numbers are starting to go up. Kaminski up at 7.5 watts per kilo. You saw him get out of the saddle and make that attack. He was doing that from where he is in the world out in Poland. You saw his avatar respond, kicking away and put the pressure on, and the answer has come. But how many times can they answer a big move?
Well, 25 riders up the road ahead of them in this world. That is the top 25 in the category 2 race. And you can see on that mountain up ahead of them, multiple groups of riders now, as this climb has also done damage to the Cat 2 race.
It's getting very, very interesting as we move into the finish of this race. The team on the front here are pushing, and it is the UAE Clan team who've got the race lead at the moment. Michael Knudsen has now chosen his moment to make a move here. So Michael Knudsen on the left-hand side of your screen, he is starting to go off the front. Behind him, Mr. X100 and Zach Nair on the way up the climb behind him, and they have to keep on pushing here because it's all about the times, isn't it, Emma, between these teams, because it could come down to what the third rider can do here rather than what the first rider is capable of doing, particularly if they can't get a gap on the front. The riders behind are going to be even more critical. If you've got one rider 15 minutes down the road, your team can take it a lot easier. When they're all coming in together and there's no time separation, it's what riders 2 and 3 can do.
No, it is completely, absolutely. When you think about this, it is indeed about what that third rider can do. Lots of the teams got 2 riders in that leading group, but it is the third counter that is going to be instrumental for that team competition. So for our new viewers, it is the 3 riders' times added together that gives the team competition. You can have between 3 and 5 riders on your team, but only the top 3 times count.
Well, Michael Nussen is looking for it to be the first counting time that sets the benchmark. He's on the move again. The 6 watts per kilo. Ollie Jones comes across to him this time. Ollie Jones wearing the polka dot skin suit of the best rider up the first climb of the day. They're joined by looks like I say Savridson. I think Johan Noren has gone up over the top. Looks like Kaminsky in here as well. Pim van Diemen in trouble off the back here, and I think that is going to be very telling. He's gone. It looks like Van Elster's gone, but interestingly, Kaminsky yo-yoing around the back of this group, and Ollie Jones is not necessarily on the front. Are they just taking a little bit of a break? It is absolutely on it. They cannot afford to let go too much because they will find somebody's going to attack and go clear. Speaking of attacks, guess who's on the move in Category 3? Nikhil Kansara on the move. He's trying to break this down. He's been chased down by Largo this time, and Kansara is going to kick again over the top here as the group come back together again. They're going into those yellow chevrons on the power, but they have to get it together here. Really critical for these riders that they hold the wheels. They do not want to lose contact. They have got 2.3k to go at the moment to the finish, so 2,300 meters left. They really, really need to not lose any time now. They won't have enough distance left to bring the gap back down again. Really critical. We've got a long run away from basically the finishing line. We do a U-turn, so we do a tight right-hand turn, and then we run back directly above where the riders are now, past the polka dot banner, and then through the yellow banner of the finish, separated by 500 meters. You can see that turn, bottom left-hand side of your screen. Basically, it steps its way around that little cut end of the branch. We're moving our way along here. Johan Moreno at the moment, very, very attentive of Largo's move. Dutch also doing the same. And Sergio Hoyos, you've got to watch out for Hoyos too. Moreno, well, he's a seasoned veteran when it comes to racing on MyWhoosh. He's been doing it for a long time. And now, at the moment, Moreno is tucked in this group in that polka dot skin suit. He will want to be in with the in at the kill here. Taylor Gonsolin in this group as well. Montanella in there. I'm just taking a little check. Connell is in this group as well. Kirchner in the pack. Dutch in there, Bradley in there, Kochikov's in there. It's just
19
so
riders,
close, isn't it?
19 riders in that leading group in Category 3 still. And take a look, they've got 1.7k to go.
Come on, guys, you need to do something decisive quick.
Well, will fortune favour the brave rider, or will it be a sprint finish in that Category 3 race? There's a brave rider going off the front in Category 1. It's Arnie Jacobs.
It is Arnie Jacobs who's going. He's really pushing on here. And at the moment, he has got 5 seconds on Michael Kaminsky. Now, they've known Jacobs go, and they've known him go again and go again. And at the moment, what he's doing, he's going to be able to use some of the draft from the riders in Category 2. And now the move comes from Turek to close him down as 8 watts per kilo come out from Turek. He's eased back a little bit here, but he's going to bridge across. Look at the pace he's making here. He's bridging across at some speed. Behind comes Kaminsky. He's gone, anything you can do, I can do better. You go at 8 watts per kilo. I can go at 9.5. He's going to keep that pushing, and he's on to the wheels, I think. Yep, he's made it. So he's closed down the gap. Turek's going to come across as well. Are they going to bring the whole of the group back with them? They haven't. They've still got a little bit of distance, but it's not a lot. The satellite navigation, that radar view is confusing because of the amount of green discs. The green discs are there. They are the Category 2, the Category 1 hidden by them on that radar view, and that is making it harder for the riders to judge distance, to judge the composition of the group. They are at 41.2 kilometers to go at the moment. They really do need to break clear, I think, of Category 2, if only to get a clear look at what is going on in the race. The front of Category 2 being held by Betty at the moment. He has got what is going to be just under 3k to go. We have 800 meters to go for Category 3. They should be the first riders to the line. the riders in Category 4. The Category 4 leads at 43.7. So, in with Category 3, who are on the way into towards the line. We've got just under 700 now, 600 meters to go. We're coming up to the polka dot banner. This will signify the end of the climb. A reminder, though, there are 500 meters. This is almost a 500 meters to go sign for the riders, rather than necessarily the importance of signifying the end of the climb. They know they've got half a kilometer to go. They know that it will level as they go up over the top. The banner comes as it starts to level. This is a very, very tricky finish to get right. Here they go. 500 meters to go, 400 meters to go. The clock is ticking down as they come in through. They're going to come round the right-hand bend. This is a big group. It's going to be a sprint to the line. Who's got the legs left in Category 3? They're going to be the first of our riders up there. You can see the other categories on the right-hand side, but Category 3 are coming.
And the kick
200
goes.
meters.
It's 200 meters and the kick is going, and we can see Bradley pushing in and putting in that final effort. He's part and parcel of this 19-man group on the run-in to that UCI banner. He's not going to make it. He's going to come through in the top 15. But it is indeed the winner for Kochikov for Hoyas from Kirchner. It is a huge sprint finish. So Sergio Hoyas taking it from Kochikov, from Kirchner, from Diedich, from Barra. Wow.
That was just one big train of riders going in there en masse. Well done, Emma, for spotting the leader going over there. That was so close on the front of the race there. I'm glad you were calling that one, not me. There's sometimes that you've just got to go all yours. And that was definitely it. Right. Okay, whilst Emma gets her eyes sharpened even more, because we've got a run for the line. Daniel Turek, who we saw attacking, closing down the gaps, now in the lead of Category 1. Category 2, we have got Nico clear. He's got 2 seconds on Betty at the moment, but this is a matter of 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds. Not any more than that, and they could be closed down at any time, because this is a terrible run for the finish. If you are starting to feel the effects of the climb, they're on the way in. They've a little way to go, because coming into the finish, this is Category 4. You can see at the moment it is between Cridland and Kalman making the way into the finish. You can see the gantry in front.
Well, the gantry's there, and Cridland is pushing. It's Cridland versus Kalman. Kalman has gone. This is going to be Jonathan Cridland who's going to take the win today in Category 4 for the February final on the Paso Alto. So well done to Cridland from Kalman. Newman looking like he's going to come through for third place in that Category 4 race. We drop in with Category 2, and the push is on, Matt. This group has stretched. This could be a winning move.
It certainly could be. You can see Nitko on the climb here, making his way up. You've got Kaminsky on the left with Knudsen on the climb here in Category 1. So all changed whilst we've been away from your screens. Turek has gone back. The group has come back together again. Knudsen now kicking in Category 1. Nico's got the gap in Category 2. He's still clear of Betty and Spina by about 5 seconds. He has got what is going to be about 800 meters to go. In fact, he's just gone past. So you can see Turek on the left-hand side here. So really, really interesting the way that these riders are squeezing in towards the finish. It will be Category 2 who get to our finishing line next. This is the run for the line. And at the moment, Spina and Betty are trying to close down the leader. That's the 500 meters to go banner in front. That is the polka dot, and it is Nitko. Will he make it? He's about to hit that line, but they're chasing behind him.
Well, I'll tell you what, this is a 3-up race to the finish line, because the gap back to fourth now 15 seconds. So Nico, Betty and Ospina, the 3 riders in 1, 2 and 3, just 5 seconds separating them. They've got 500 meters to go as well. The sweep round the right-hand bend and the run for the finish line. Who's going to take it? Who's going to kick. I tell you something, Ospina has kicked behind. Ospina's kicked at 8.6 watts per kilo. He's going for a long run. He's going for the run to take bit past Nitko. But Nitko responds now as he goes round the bend. He's going to see the banner first. But is he going to cross the line first? That is the question, because Carlos Ospina is trying to mix this up here. He's trying to push on and he's closing it down. He's closing it down. He's going to go past David Nitko. Can Nitko respond now? As Carlos Ospina kicks again, he can see the line. It's 10 watts per kilo. He wants this. He wants a win on the February final. He takes it. Carlos Ospina taking the win in category 2.
So it's Carlos Ospina from David and Nitko as behind them in category 1. Our leaders continue to put the pressure on Kaminsky and Savizade coming back at pace to Michael Knudsen rolling over the top. And this is going to be about getting the timing right as much as it is about effort here, because you've got to get the timing. You can only put a certain number of efforts in, and it's now Michael Kaminsky who's gone on the front. Will he open up a big enough gap?
Well, Kaminsky's gone. Jones is following. Popovic and Safrazade are there, as well as Knudsen. They are all trying to take this, but it is Kaminsky who I think is going to come across the line first. Popovic is really digging deep. So is Safrazad. But Kaminsky is going to take the win just from Popovic, as well as Knudsen. So Marko Kaminsky takes the win from Pablo Popovic, from Knudsen, from Turek, from Jones. That, for me, Matt, has got to be a Coalition Alpha Jaw team win.
Oh, there we go, calling it very early there, but I think you're going to be correct as they make the way in to the line. Good ride by Daniel Turek and Ollie Jones coming through for 4th and 5th places. Say Safrazade going through in 6th, Michael Plantero in 7th, Johan Noren in 8th, and Arnie Jacobs in 9th. Team competition, Emma, how are we doing with that? We are right in the death of the leaders coming in over the line, but we have lots more riders out on course. And remember, because it is 3 counters to get to the line, it is going to make things interesting. In terms of the team competition, the Coalition Alpha Jaw, I think, they're going to have a top spot. But remember, our prizes go down for all top 5 positions. Do we have top teams in all our categories yet?
Not on my sheet yet.
Okay, well, we will be glued to the results page of MyWhoosh. Remember, it's mywhoosh.com for all of the results as they start to come in thick and fast. Don't forget that will run until the last of our riders has gone across the line as live, and then it will change. The race is on for the positions a little bit further down the course here, because every single position counts for the riders at the moment. You need 3 riders to count here. This is Nair, this is Panizzi, and this is going to be Mr. X100.
Well, whilst we watch these riders come up towards the finish line, I can confirm Coalition Alpha Jaw are the riders on the top of the tree in the team competition in Cat 1. Zach Nair, Mr. X100, and Panizza, as well as these riders here coming up and coming in. This is for the counters in the team competition as Panizza comes in across the line. He's going to take it in front of Zach Nair and X100. These riders, all seconds count in this competition.
So the riders continue to come in and through the line here. A reminder, the top 3 spots here today, Kaminsky, Popovic and Knudsen, followed then in 4th and 5th by Turek and Jones to round out the prize positions in the individual competition. Make sure you're glued to the results, Emma.
Yeah, for the team competition, Coalition Alpha Jaw, Cat 1, the Hitman from Hubbard's Cat 2, the Gold Grabbers from Draft Cat 3, and I think it's going to be upcycled from the Power in Cat 4.
Get all the results on mywhoosh.com/results. We're going to be glued to that. An absolute pleasure to be here putting words to the action on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club finals for February. We kick it all off again next week. It will be qualifier number 1 for March as we come back next week on Sunday. Hope to see you before then, though, out on MyWhoosh, out and riding and enjoying this amazing set of worlds that we have in front of us when we make our way down onto the MyWhoosh platform. I hope you're going to join me down there. I've got to say a massive thank you to our riders for all of their amazing action. A big thank you to you for watching. A big thank you to the team behind the scenes who make it all happen. And thank you very much to Emma for being here in the studio with me. But from me, Matt Payne, from Emma Martin, stay safe. We'll see you again soon.
Goodbye.